everybody, and brightest blessings. Lady Leeanna back with you one-on-one for the first time in a long time, no live streaming, to talk to you about the subject that we all love and hold so dear to our heart. I've been asked lately on so many different occasions, how do you become a witch? I'm going to opt at first for the most logical and obvious answer, and that would be, for me, in my opinion, that you are or you aren't already. I feel that being a witch is in a person's nature to begin with. Now, it may not be so obvious to the person in the beginning or for a very, very long time throughout their life, but it would be in their nature. A person's nature, in my opinion, makes you a witch or doesn't. Now, obviously you would have to use your witchy knowledge, so a certain amount of learning and becoming or coming up, being brought up by others, may be required. I feel that witchcraft is a way of life. Being a witch is a way of life. It is what you do. It is the way you are. Now, you may know that you're a witch by paying attention and finding yourself drawn to paying attention to the moon phases, the planetary alignments, anything science, the love of growing things, craving the pouring in of knowledge and wisdom, working with your hands, being drawn to the mysterious, being kindred with a certain kind of animal, or all animals for that matter, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a cat, a crow, or an owl, which are your most strongest pull to, or dragons, of all animals to people, but the fact of the matter is it would be the animal that is kindred with you. Everybody's spirit animal, if they are honest with themselves, could be a lot different from everybody else's, but a lot of people that jump off into it feel that they have to choose a mythological creature, dark or mysterious creature, and it's just not the case. A dog can be your familiar, a crow, a snake, a lizard for that matter. But your most usual would be your cats, at least from what I've seen from most witches. Generally because cats are a very mystical creature, and through certain animals you can travel, and cats are kind of half in and half out of this world anyway, so they're obviously a good choice. So is a crow, by the way. And that's why I've emphasized on that. An owl can be, if you can focus in their eyes long enough, but they're a very stern-looking creature to begin with. Let's see. A lot of people are under the conception, oh, well, I like to wear the dark eyeliner, I like to wear the dark clothes, I'm withdrawn from other people. They like to use these as excuses that they are a witch. Now, I will say that witches are drawn to dark clothing as well as dressing gothically. A lot of them, but a lot of them are definitely not by the same measures. A lot of witches are drawn to the colors green or purple. Purple because it represents Akasha. Black because it represents strength or power. Green because it represents growth within oneself, gardening or healing. and it really depends on the person, to tell you the truth. So you can't go by what you like to wear as to determine as to whether you're a witch or not. Whenever I was a young kid, 13 I believe it was, I remember stepping out my door, and this is the first instance of me coming to the acknowledgement of who I could be, although I denied it for a long time thereafterward. But the very first time I can remember acknowledging anything to do with possibilities within myself was when I stepped out my door inside the winter time. Okay. And it was a big, gorgeous, full moon. So big that it made the sky look like a medium to light blue rather than the dark blue of the nighttime. And we're talking about 9 o'clock at night here. But I could see my breath. I could see steam coming out of my mouth. And it made me kind of take note of the smell of the night, the smell of the cold night, actually. And a lot of people would say that doesn't exist, but it does. Cold has a smell to it. It's tangible. It's something that could be paid attention to, although a lot of people just don't think about that. But that's what a witch is, isn't it? Somebody that takes note of all of this kind of thing and makes it a part of them. Craves to poke or prod at everything to figure it out. Takes in all the wisdom that they could possibly gather. Takes note of the beauty of the moon. And takes note in the wisdom of the moon phase or the planetary alignment, or what that actually means, although not all of us are actually submerged within astrology. A great many are, and a great many are also just lightly touching on astrology, but don't make it a great course for themselves because there's so many other fields to study, and it takes a whole bunch of people to make a village. And so we rely on other people's knowledge and wisdom and take note of the fact that we can't possibly know everything ourselves. We can't learn everything within one lifetime. So we adhere and accept certain branches of study. How do you become a witch? How do you become a witch? What is a witch? Well, I feel again that you are or you aren't. It's in a person's nature. And that's what determines whether you are or not. Growing up within the things, taking note of all that you're supposed to, studying all that you generally would if it's in your nature, is what will help you to become. And then, if you're studying within a group, or if you believe in a dedication or initiation within solitary practice, that is where you take on your new pagan name, your new witch's name. That is where you will proclaim yourself that which you are. And this is my opinion on it. Now, there are many, many different people that'll have different opinions. There are many people that'll find that what I say resonates with them to some degree, but there may be variances. So I can only give you my outlook, my take on things. Are you a witch? Well, is it in your nature? Do you draw to the mysterious? Are you at one with a certain kind of animal and find yourself extremely kindred with them, or many animals? Do you find yourself submerged in deep dreaming and try to figure it out throughout the next day? Are you one that likes to adhere to the fact that there are many different deities rather than just one. Or maybe you don't believe in a deity but believe in magic and call upon low magic's aid. Because in all reality, witchcraft is a practice. It is a way of life, but it is not a religion whatsoever. Regardless of what I might have said in the earliest parts of this video, calling it a religion, it's really not. It is really so much a way of life, a practice, a state of being. And what you do with that is how strong within that you become over time. Is witchcraft and Wicca the same thing? The answer there would be no. Wicca is more of a spiritual practice. And it can be a way of life, a state of being also. However, it is more ritualistic. It does call to deities, but not only, it can call on low magic's aid as well, which means the energy of the earth, the sun, moon, and stars, that within the trees or plants or other people, But those within Wicca go the extra mile and tend to cast up circles. They tend to work up energy, not saying that some witches don't. But Wicca, they like to stand within a circle and cast up walls, so it'll encase and hold that energy until they're ready to let it go, as well as to protect themselves from dark magic, should it be about. Within Wicca and witchcraft, dark and light does exist, good and bad, evil, etc. Although some people will say that it doesn't exist. Well, in the oldest days, it didn't. But in the new days, Christianity did come about. And by the time Wicca and witchcraft came out from underground, Christianity had its field day and kind of placed a bearing on all religions and put spins on it that changed it today. And so it's not unheard of to hear Wiccans or witches stand around talking about whether they practice light or practice dark, good, bad, dark, evil, or indifferent, gray. So for many different people, it is different things. Are you a witch? You have to ask yourself what you're drawn to, what you're not drawn to, which would be your monotheistic religion and believing into a god. Are you witch or are you Wiccan? It depends. Are you more spiritual or are you more a way of life and political? It's really the way it is. Do you work with your hands most? Do you apply your craft where you're supposed to? And in Wicca today, the people like to create a lot of their own tools, or at least put their bearing on something that they bought, like say an etchment or a logo, a symbol, a sigil of some sort. I feel that in a way a lot of witches and Wiccans are alike. But you have to realize that there are so many different pathways today that sure, you're going to find resemblances. It's just the way it is. I mean, there are Christian Wiccans or Christian witches today. There are satanic witches. It's all out there. Who you are is going to decipher what you are, what you believe in. What your nature is going to answer that question for you. And if all you can come out with is, I like to wear the eyeliner, I like to wear the black clothing, then you got life screwed up, because it's a lot of work. It's something that you like to do, though. I mean, it's a job, it's a work that you're doing out of your heart because you want to, because you feel it because you know it, because it resonates with you. You wear the black clothes. Well, a lot of witches do, and it's to draw power. There's an answer for that. There's a reason for it. But just because you wear black clothing does not make you a witch. Does not make you a Wiccan. So, reach inside of yourself and see what your feelings are, because that's where it starts. And if you find that you're drawn to the mysterious, you love to grow things, or you love herbs and the knowledge as to what they do for you, even if you don't grow them, if you're craving knowledge and wisdom about the world and how it works, science, religions of all different sorts, even though you're not drawn to all of them, you know, and you're not set upon one certain sort because it was beat on your head, then you might find that you're a witch. Now, how to become? Well, you nurture that. You grow it from the ground up. You study. You find what you feel, what you believe. And then, if you believe in initiation, dedication first, which is where you dedicate yourself to the gods and goddesses, or to the earth, if you don't believe in gods and goddesses. And again, it depends on whether you believe in dedication or not. I feel that dedication is a good ritual that all different religions, all different people and pathways go through. Look at the Indians. They were sent out into the forest at age 13 to find themselves by capturing this animal or doing this or that. You know, I feel that ritual belongs in all people and all religions. You know, but if you find that you believe in dedication and that you believe in initiation, and initiation is actually where you take the pathway into yourself unconditionally for the rest of your life. Dedication is before that, where again you have dedicated yourself to the learning of this knowledge and wisdom within whatever path or people you are within. And so, you know, these are 2 steps in becoming, if you believe in those. And if you don't believe in those, you just are. Of course, you will grow and change and evolve. And that would be then your dedication, initiation, if you don't believe in the actual rituals. Now, whether you do it in a circle or not, it depends on whether you're Wiccan or you're witch. Is Wicca and witch the same thing? No, they're not, but there are a lot of similarities in certain people's choice paths these days. There are so many different ways you can undertake each one. Wicca is more spiritual and religious, where witchcraft is more political and just a way of life and a practice. And that's the best way I can sum that up for you. Now, who you are, that's something you have to decide for yourself. And you go inside for that answer. Okay? And it's more than how you look or what you like to wear or who you like to hang around, although these things can be a part of it whenever it's all said and done. You know? But do you like to cram knowledge and wisdom of everything, especially scientifically? Do you like to study plants and herbs even though you don't grow them? Or do you like to grow them? Do you take note of the extracts within plants? You know, this is all knowledge and wisdom that you acquire over time by cramming and study, which marks what a witch really is. The wise one is the old name in the earliest time for who we are, the wise ones. You know, people change that when they condemned us as being witches. So did we name ourselves witches? No, we didn't. However, we did proclaim ourselves Wiccan when we came up out from hiding and came out from underground and let ourselves be known. The creators of the books, Buckland, Murray, Crowley, these guys brought the name Wiccan out to being, and that was for fear. And this is only what I feel. This, to me, in my opinion, was out of fear that if we had arose under the same name that, for one thing, was actually given to us probably by the Christians, you're a witch, blah, 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 then we would have befallen the same judgments against us, killed in the same way. I believe that there were a lot of fears of the same persecutions. But then this is only my take on the matter. Hopefully I've answered this for you. Also, let me add to this. When I was young, aside of acknowledging the full moon, how it filled the sky, watching my breath in the cold air, smelling the cold air. Aside of that, I would have dreams and try to picture it out what it was, although I really never got much of anywhere until much later, like 5 years later. But I was interested in plants, and I do remember looking at certain herbs that were growing out of the ground and taking note of the ridgy leaves, the circular leaves, etc. And I think that is an important thing to take note of. Also, found myself, whenever other people were gardening, asking questions. My dad liked to garden. He liked to grow certain things. And I took note of that. I asked questions. I helped him as a kid. And because I wanted to. Let's see. Working with my hands. Drawing. I always loved drawing. Reading. Especially books on knowledge and wisdom of many different sorts. Let's see. I felt weird and different and magical. And trust me, just pointing a finger and squinting your eyes and this and that is not going to make you a witch. Just because you do that, you're playing. It's just playing. However, you're acknowledging magic. You are finding an interest in it, obviously. Watching shows based on the odd and extraordinary. All of this could be signs that you're a witch. How do you become a witch? You nourish that. You help it to grow. This is Lady Leeanna, and please rate, comment, subscribe. Help the channel to grow. If you don't, we'll get nowhere. The channel will die out. And, I love doing these shows for you guys. Take care of yourself and merry part. Bye-bye.